as you can see, we had a small delay because it's the two of us. So I invite you to come with us on a journey. And I think this journey will last about 20 minutes. It's a short one. But I want to introduce myself, of course, but also Anette Steenberg, who is our beloved partner and who supported us, Daiichi Sankyo, as a company to set up a new region in the northern part of Europe, the Nordics. So we are sharing this incredible story and sharing with you the insights and the learnings of this story. And I think you will, I hope you will find it enjoyable. But before I do that, I would like to leave you actually with two thoughts. Usually when you start a presentation, you are always asked to start with a story, you have been told. Or at least with three thoughts, like Boston Consulting will tell you. It's just two thoughts, maybe because it's 20 minutes, because maybe it's just the two of us, or maybe because we want to be a bit different. And that is the story I want to share. So when I started the industry about 15 years ago, I learned that you build credibility with your customers and also with your people by having all the answers. When I progressed in my career and my leadership, I realized very quickly that having all the answers is probably not good enough. You need to understand that you probably build credibility and trust, and you win the hearts and minds of your customers and people by asking the right question, by truly understanding what they are driven by truly understanding the needs that they have and define a common purpose. And that's the first thing I want to leave you with, my learning throughout my career. The second thing I want to leave you with is that we have heard yesterday a lot about machine learning, artificial intelligence. I think these are tools that will enhance and will systematically grow and be important to our business. But I believe, and we have heard yesterday and today as well, that people are the key. People to understand what the technology can do for them, and in order to have more and to be better and to improve and to use the sophistication, I think we need to truly understand and work with our people, and there is a strong aspect about leadership that has to come to our industry and about innovation that we need to bring to our customers. And I want to leave you with one quote of Leonardo da Vinci, who actually said that, it's a very interesting one, and he was focusing on something very different. And he said that actually simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Yeah? So having said that, let's start our talk, and I think I will start by introducing just very quickly Daiichi Sankyo. It's a global pharmaceutical company with more than 100 years of expertise. We have been in that field. We have quite a strong presence across the world, about 10 million turnover and 2 billion business across the world spread, but with our main focus in Japan, where we are actually the number 2. And we have a very strong heritage in terms of our medical expertise, in how we do business around the world, how we innovate, how we are really driving success throughout the globe by introducing new things, by doing things different. And that we do specifically on our vision to become a global innovator in oncology, where we are starting to focus specialty business on. So very interesting, Japanese company. You will hear more of us because we have exciting medicine and products to come and to bring to you. And we are operating in cardiovascular as well, which is a strong heritage. So if you have not heard about us, I'm sure you will. We are here to start. And actually it was my job the last 2.5 years to build our oncology presence across Europe. We started from scratch, a very innovative and interesting journey we went on. And as I mentioned before, we had a beloved partner to help us doing that in the Nordic region, which was Copenhagen Capacity, a non-profit foundation that Anette will introduce, and we will share our insights together.
Thank you very much, Patrik, and thank you so much for sharing the stage with me. I'm very happy and privileged to be here today. As Patrik mentioned, Copenhagen Capacity is an investment promotion agency. It's public-private funded. It's a foundation And our aim is basically to take the strongholds of Greater Copenhagen, and Greater Copenhagen is the metropolis of Copenhagen, actually including the southern part of Sweden. Taking the stronghold of that region and maximizing and help develop it and attract more both investment and also talent. And in that case, we've been very happy to assist Daiichi Sankyo to come and establish in Greater Copenhagen, representing the Nordics and the Baltic states. Now, one of the strongest strongholds of Greater Copenhagen is actually the life science cluster. We have an amazing cluster growing, and I'll show you a couple of figures later on so you can see how much it's grown over the past decade or two. What we focus on in the life science industry is to make the life science cluster even stronger. And we do that not only because in Denmark, Danes themselves have some strong companies that I'm sure you know of, Novo Nordisk, Lundbeck, Pharma, etc. But we are also very happy to have been able to attract a lot of foreign direct investment as Daiichi Sankyo within life science. So we focus on attracting foreign direct investors within life science, especially with some of the areas that we have strongholds, like oncology, like diabetes. Furthermore, we also attract foreign talent. So watch out, we might be coming after you. We're very eager. You all know there is a war on talent right now, and we're doing our best in attracting talent, because this is actually one of the things I see when I talk to foreign direct investors, that are one of the most important things for them is their access to talent pool. So that's a huge area. We're also working very hard on attracting more foreign talent, because we simply do not have enough talent in Denmark to cover the needs of the life science industry. Lastly, we are also focusing on health data. This is what we call data saves lives. Denmark has an amazing gold mine of healthcare data. We have 165 databases. Denmark, you get registered when you're born, and everything is tracked throughout your life. We have these amazing registers that we are working on, making it easier to access for researchers to come in and utilize those data. So all in all, we have a huge focus on life science, and we also, coming back to it, trying to do it in a more holistic, patient. We don't talk too much about patients, we talk about more customers way. We'll talk about that a little later. Thank you, Patrik.
Sure. I think one key thing, and we have seen this holistic approach that a couple of you have shown, which is all about, bringing everybody together, centering around the patient, having third parties engaged. I think we have seen those slides in many different ways throughout this conference. I think when we started in the Nordics, we thought we have to be different. How can we, the first question we asked ourselves was, do we really understand the true needs of our customers? Do we really understand it? And I asked that question, I think, in every meeting 5 or 6 times. And I tried to disrupt the thinking of our people to really understand, do we truly know what is the true need? What's the underlying need? How can we define a common purpose? And what we very quickly understood is that from this holistic approach, we need to become, and we call this a bit more fluid, permeable in our understanding and thinking, so that it's not a static system. Ideas, understanding flows in. We are challenging ourselves with different stakeholders. We are gathering insights, and our primary purpose is really not just to sell, is to make a difference and to understand the needs and address them. And I believe dearly that at the end of the day, doing that will give us an absolute competitive advantage. And third parties, don't worry, you are still, that's the third parties, you are outside, but you are flowing in all the time. So we're making sure we're bringing everybody on board, but we don't do innovation just for the sake of innovation. We take what will make a difference. And to understand what will make a difference, we need to listen to our customers, co-design, do many things differently, specifically in the R&D cycle. And I have one slide to show you later a bit, that we have tried to prolong our selling cycle in that whole journey that we did. And we didn't do it alone. It was Copenhagen Capacity, it was the university hospitals. We actually put our office in the heart of science. We put our office on the university campus to be very close to startups, to be very close to research and innovation, and in order to bring scientific expertise to our company, but exchange and bringing studies to the innovation landscape that we have been finding. And Denmark was really a great host country to really start to do something different. As an example, we will do a pilot there to not measure our entire sales force on sales. Yeah? We will not measure on sales and on P&L. What we will measure is the impact that our sales force, that our people have with the customers. And we are developing KPIs for that as we speak, so it's a pilot. But that will be one of the key aspects to drive and to make a difference in the hearts and minds of our people so that they understand that they are here to drive and to serve the patients rather than just pushing products into the market. So this will be a very interesting one, and I'm happy to share the outcomes maybe to a later stage. But it's a very interesting pilot that we're doing, and I think it will make an incredible difference to our customers. And I think I mentioned here 3 topics. So one of them will be network, and Anette will talk a bit about this, because I think a pharmaceutical company can't do it alone. And we need to rethink together what the future of pharma will hold for us. And all of the incredible machine learnings, and I think IBM Watson also yesterday mentioned deep learning, understanding. I think that will be all a great support. But I do believe that the human aspect and network and understanding will play an even more important role in the future. The intensified contact and understanding and dialogue with our customers. Maybe you want to talk
and
about
actually,
that.
this shows the holistic way that we take towards customers, and also, as Patrik mentioned, we love to be this. Denmark or Greater Copenhagen is a very small place. It's not really an interesting market as such because we are very few people. However, we try to make it a great, interesting R&D place, a place where you can test things, a place where you can try new things. I love to hear more about the no P&L KPIs. I think that's very exciting. So we like to be a more exploratory, also have this holistic way. Our benefit and advantages is actually that we are a public-private funded foundation, which means we have great access to the private sector, we have great access to the public sector. And in that, especially within life science, is so important. We can talk to the authorities, we can talk to the private companies, and we have a whole holistic ecosystem in the region of companies, of universities, of authorities, and of course of our universities and science park that work together, and we are trying to link them again with the benefit of strengthening the sector and thereby also attracting more talent and direct investment. Yes, this is just a couple of numbers where you can actually see this is the region over here that is the southern part of Sweden, and this is the Danish side of what we call Greater Copenhagen. We are only 4 million people, which is not very much, but we have over 20 years grown from 300 life science companies to 1,500, actually more. And it just shows you the strength is getting stronger, and if anybody's interested, please come to me and I'd love to talk to you afterwards. Yes, and as mentioned, we were very happy to be able to meet with Daiichi Sankyo. One of my life science colleagues met with them at Bio Japan and got in contact with Patrik afterwards. And we were very happy to show them what Copenhagen had to offer. And I think one of the things that attracted you was this huge company that you are, that you could be placed in a very small setup, startup, innovative place in Copenhagen. So you had both sides, and we are very excited to see the development that is.
And I think I want to add here, why do we choose this picture? We chose it because I mentioned before it's about people and networks. And when you look at this picture, you see many different stakeholders. Our global head of R&D is on there. We have the Minister of Health. We have the Japanese ambassador on the right-hand corner. And we were together really celebrating something to say, we will make together a difference. And I think also Anette was there with
I just might add that actually this is our Minister of Trade and Industry, he's also the Minister of Life Science, and the Danish government has made a special life science growth strategy because they know and they believe that this is extremely important for Denmark and, of course, our economy.
And we were welcomed, and we have also invited patient organizations to our opening to really start a dialogue and making sure that they understand why we are here and what we are doing and how we can make a true difference to them. So I think this was just a way to show you that there is a whole, I would say, network that is there to support you, to build something together, but that we need to utilize and understand who and what the stakeholders are for and how we can really add value to them. I think as we are a bit running out of time, I want to take one more or two, three more slides I think that are important. And I think when you look into, when we try to define what's new and what is the new business model, we saw very quickly that looking at the traditional way of doing the pharma model, that the selling cycle is very short. And along the journey, you don't invite many stakeholders to participate. We have redefined that also together with global R&D and with our colleagues from the US and Japan, and have thought about how do we can really enhance a customer-based model, which is value and outcome-based, and not only more just pushing products into the market, but winning the customers. And by doing that, and by sourcing innovation, which will also add, as I mentioned before, all the new technologies we are looking for, and defining a value proposition by truly understanding the needs, we can really better and prolonged interaction with our stakeholders ensure that the selling cycle is much longer and that we have a much closer interaction with our customer, which at the end, my belief and our company's belief is that it will drive revenue. Because at the end, of course, we are a listed company that needs to make sales, so that's very important. But we want to do it in a more enhanced way and more innovation and disrupt a bit the industry for our thinking in terms of can we do things different, better, and are there new ways of really interacting and engaging? And I think we will rest you assured that we have a tremendous pipeline. Thank you very much. We have great products, so we will bring innovation and needs to our stakeholders. We have been doing that for more than a century, so looking forward to really launch those products. Keeping in mind, we haven't sold yet anything on the market. So I have a P&L without a P at the moment. So, but I do hope that I will change that very fast and that we actually will become a really strong oncology company and actually will have in the next 7 to 8 years $1 billion turnover in Europe alone. So much about not measuring on sales, but I think it's important to understand why we do that and take our people on the journey, on that purposeful journey that we are on together. I think you want to talk a bit about that.
Yeah, just very briefly, I'm trying to see if I can compete with Daiichi Sankyo on pipeline. It's not quite as impressive, but still, Medicon Valley here has one of the biggest pipeline also in Europe, and Medicon Valley is what we call Greater Copenhagen area. And actually, depending on what happens to the UK, we will be number 1 in the EU. So I still think we can be up there with Daiichi Sankyo. At least we try.
Yeah, that's a good one. Let's start. And I think the last topic was about patient engagement, and maybe you want to talk a bit about also how to bring patients into the picture.
Yeah, it's the patient, of course, especially when we talk about healthcare data, is the most important. As mentioned before, in Denmark we have a unique personal identifier that has been going on for more than 50 years. So all healthcare data is gathered on us. So there's some huge, interesting databases that researchers have the option to access. However, the access is something we're working on how to make it easy. And of course, most importantly, secure and safe. And the way we work very much in what we call triple helix. So it's the cooperation between the authorities, the government, the public, the universities, all of academia, and the private sector. This is in the field where we're trying to work, and I think the next slide shows you some of the people, some of the companies and universities and official governmental institution that is backing this project. And we are trying to be the link because private companies have a harder access entering into a close dialogue with the public, whereas we as a more neutral organization can bridge that gap. So we're really trying to gather the triple helix, the academia, public and private sector, for the benefit of the patients. So the data, which is there, can be accessible for researchers and also, of course, hopefully more cures and better cures in the future.
I think, Anette, you want to sum up, and I will just make sure that we are not overrunning too much. So.
Yes, I will just say that our cooperation with Daiichi Sankyo shows that cooperation with more partners for the benefit of the patient is extremely important. None of us can do it alone. The public that also wants this can't do it alone. The private companies, they can't do it alone. So trying to link the different triple helix organizations is extremely important. And this is what we do when we assist our customers, and ultimately within life science we assist the patients in getting better access to healthcare and better treatment in the future.
Having said that, we want to thank you for your attention. I think just one thought, War on Talent. We plan to launch every year one product over the next 8 years. So if you feel interested to join this incredible journey with us on a purpose, please feel free to talk to me afterwards. In Denmark, of course. And I want to thank you. And I want.
We have already recruited Patrik. He's coming to Denmark shortly.
You see. But I think it's important that we understand that we do this for the benefit of the patient. And at the end, we all are asked to put our heads, hearts and minds together to make a difference. And I think this is where I invite everyone here as well as in the industry to really rethink what we do, utilize what we have in terms of technology and make a true difference to the patient. So thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you.